Toronto blinked. Are the Dodgers now the clubhouse leaders in the Bichette sweepstakes? The Dodgers are waiting for their next big move this offseason, but Toronto, they might have just done something for them because over the weekend, the Blue Jays, the AL champs, committed to 4 years and $60 million with Japanese infielder Kazuma Okamoto. On the surface, that's just another international signing, but when you zoom out, it starts to feel like a directional move and one that doesn't scream, we're building around Bo Bichette long term. Travis, this is fascinating because Bichette has been a cornerstone for that team over the last 5 years. With Vladimir Guerrero Jr., they came up that system together, and now it seems like they're trending towards another direction. With Bo being a free agent, they're signing other players, and they're showing a lot of interest in other players, while their guy, the one that they ended up growing in their system, is still waiting, being like, hey, it's January 7th. Where am I?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because he's a good player. You know, he's had some injury problems. He's been a little bit inconsistent over the course of the early part of his career, but when he's right, he's really, really good. And I think what we're maybe not entirely privy to, and what matters a great deal in conversations like this, is what have they communicated to him behind the scenes? What have they communicated to him privately? Because I think you bring up a really interesting point, which is, if, you know, whether it's your job, Harry, or my job, or any of our everydayers' jobs, where all of a sudden, if someone who does what you do, or at least similar to what you do, gets a promotion, gets a raise, gets some sort of perk that you don't have, you're going to start looking like, hey, what about me? You know, I've been here a long time. I've been a loyal employee. Why am I not getting this? Why are you taking care of that before you take care of me? That's just human nature. That's just the way that you know, I think most human beings are going to work. And I do think that's something that we kind of lose track of when we talk about athletes. We think of them as, like, you know, almost like television characters, like they don't have real human emotions that, you know, they go home and like, hey, what was that all about? And they are. I understand that those emotions would get involved and make people feel a certain way. Now, if they communicated to him, hey, listen, we're going to go sign Okamoto, that has nothing to do with our negotiating position with you. Don't worry. We feel exactly the way we've always felt about you. We love you. We're going to get this done. Don't worry. We just need to get this done first for reasons. Okay, maybe I believe him. Maybe I don't. But if this just happened out of left field and all of a sudden they got a guy that's another infielder and I'm in it, it's like, hey, what? You know, what are you going to be asking me to do? What, maybe you don't need me. Why did I not know about this? Why didn't you communicate to me? And you start to get in your feelings a little bit like that. It can start to make you look other places. Maybe they think he's already looking other places. Maybe they think he's already checked out or moved on. It's an interesting one. And when you have a player like Bichette, who does a lot of things, who's a versatile player, who's very gifted offensively, the Dodgers are always going to come up. Every time there's a good player, the Dodgers are going to be at the top of the list because they're the Dodgers. They have the money. They have the prospects. They have everything that you need to get a deal done, whether it's in free agency, a trade, whatever it may be. They're going to be on the short list. So, yeah, and this isn't just another name. This name makes a lot of sense for the Dodgers. It's something that's been talked about for a while. This is not the first time you've heard Bichette's name come up with the Dodgers.
And look, Travis, when you talk about like potentially a deal that has been talked to about behind the scenes, I understand if it's like, for example, Kike Hernandez, a guy who's 34 years old, who's a utility player, who's hurt, where it's like, hey, man, don't worry about it. We'll take care of you when it's time to take care of you. We got Miggy Roa already under a deal. You're coming up soon, which is potentially what's going on right now with the Dodgers and Kike. Bichette, I feel it's a different story because he's just 27 years old, but the market just hasn't treated him like a slam dunk superstar. And look at what happened with Alex Bregman, who took a kind of recalibration deal in Boston and rebuilt his value. Bichette, he's a younger player. He's a guy who is batting nearly 300. Even though his defense is suspect, you look at his bat. He has strong on-base skills, real power. He has speed. He profiles as a middle-of-the-order threat at any lineup. With the Dodgers, you've seen players who are great anywhere from the bottom of the lineup, ending things right before Shohei Ohtani goes up to bat, right behind Will Smith, in front of Will Smith. You can place him wherever you want. And one thing that's very important too, Travis, is I know I said the defense was not good for Bichette as of late. you got Miguel Rojas in there. Look at what he did with
That's a good
Mookie
point.
Betts, helping him a lot with the shortstop position. And you're going to have Mookie be a shortstop again after being a Gold Glove contender in 2025. So if you have Miggy Rowe behind Bichette, I feel that would be fantastic. I just feel that you keep on stacking this team, and it's been a slow offseason. And for those just listening, I did the air quotes because they've only, and put again air quotes, done 2 moves. But this team is
Yeah.
so stacked that I feel that the front office, they're just being like super selective and being like, okay, if we need a closer, we're going to bring the best closer in baseball. Which other spots are available that aren't, don't have an everydayer right there in that position? You can talk second base, you can talk one outfield spot, and they're trying to just bring the right pieces. And I feel that Bichette would be a great ad for this team.
No, he's a terrific player. The Dodgers are strategic. I think this is I don't want to say maybe underappreciated, but I think it's not mentioned enough that they don't just say, "Oh, good player, we'll take him." It's okay, good player. What's the price? What's the term? How many different things can he do? Will he fit into our culture or not? That it's a multi-level process to this, because when you think about the Dodgers, think about how little we know. We talk about them winning a bunch of games, winning the World Series, MVPs, Cy Young, like all of this stuff but it's all baseball stuff. It's never nonsense stuff. It's never drama stuff. It's just straight baseball stuff. And they want to make sure that all their guys fit in. Now, I think Bichette does. I think he checks all of those boxes. My only hesitation in this is that if in fact this is something that would come together. And look, I love it when the Dodgers get great players, but there has to be a league. There has to be a league where there are other teams that have a chance to win a World Series. There has to be a league where this can't be the Globetrotters where you just come in and watch a bunch of guys run around in circles and the Dodgers pound them like a nail into a board. It can't be that. It has to be something that I don't know what's going to happen tonight. I like when my team has the advantage. I like when my team has a lot of good players, but every single time a good player gets, becomes available or quasi-available, it's like, oh, they're going to go to the Dodgers. I hope that they start to go other places as well, just so it's interesting and it remains interesting. I mean, we saw how close the Dodgers came to losing the World Series last year, and it was fun. I mean, it's incredibly exciting when something like that happens. And look, if you said, do you want Bichette or not? Of course, yes, bring him on in. But at some point, these guys got to go other places too.
And look, you look at Toronto, and they're going all in. They knew that they were a spike off of home plate from Will Smith from winning the World Series this year out there in Toronto. So they're like, okay, we're close. Let's keep investing. Let's start bringing even more players into our clubhouse. And they've been like the complete opposite of the Dodgers, who have just signed Edwin Diaz and Miguel Rojas. The Blue Jays are like, okay, let's get more starting pitching. Let's get more position players. Let's keep stacking this team more and more because we want to win the World Series. Unfortunately, that's not the case all around baseball, where it's like some teams are taking it slow. Some teams aren't like really spending that type of money, but we got to give props to Toronto, who are spending money, who are investing on their team, but they're not investing in one player right now that's theirs or that was theirs. He's a free agent right now in Bo Bichette.
The only thing, you sparked a thought when you were saying that, Harry, that they're out on it, or I shouldn't say that they're out on it, that they have waited to do this. Let me say it like that. Makes me go, what do you know that I don't know? You know, what if you don't want him, why do I want him? Right? Like, what's the first thing you do when you go to buy somebody's used car? Why are you selling this car? Like,
we won't give them a commercial, but you go online and check, okay, has it been in a car accident?
Right.
Has it been in the car shop recently? What has been the issue with them right now?
Right. Like, why are you selling this car? It's, when you go to interview for a job, why did you leave your last job? It's just one of these things. Like, tell what don't I know about this? And I'm not suggesting anything, but it's just one of those. If the people that know him best have not raced, I mean, the Dodgers, when they get a chance to re-sign their guys, boom, they do it. Now they do it with due diligence and all that stuff. But I would want to know why, and just fill me in. What's up? That kind of stuff.
I mean, let's remember he had a left knee sprain in early September with the Blue Jays, and he didn't come until late in the playoffs. And then he was a day in, a day not, DHing, figuring out how to use him. So that's another spot that we definitely need to focus on. But look, if Toronto, which it seems is the case, they pivot towards Kyle Tucker and figure out a way to bring him in, it wouldn't be with a cheap contract. That would leave Bichette with the possibility of playing in the 2026 World Series against his old team, but this time wearing the real type of blue, Dodger blue. We'll keep an eye on this situation. All right, next on Locked On Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw may be retired, but he might be far from done shaping the game.